This video is brought to you by REP Gaming Products. Help protect your deck and support the show by picking up a steel deck box from the link down below. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Abrew About Nothing. So this week, we're doing something very special and very different. So we're in the last week of this weird dead time as we wait for Ravnica Allegiance, but we've been featuring a lot of deck techs that have new Ravnica Allegiance cards, like the pod deck for Modern, and there's a ton of Ravnica Allegiance decks I want to play, and we're going to start playing on Much Abrew, but we didn't have time to do them for this episode because the set we just had pre-release like a day ago, so we just haven't had time to record and edit and get the videos up. So I decided to do a special episode this week, and as you might have heard, I'm playing in an upcoming run of Vintage Super League. The season actually started this past Tuesday, but my first episode is on February 5th, a Tuesday at 9 Eastern. So that means I need to start learning Vintage. So today, you're going to see my very first ever attempt to play Vintage. I have not played, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know, maybe I played it a long time ago. I think I played like one game against Richard, or maybe that was old school. But to the best of my knowledge, I've played literal 0 games of Vintage in my entire time of playing Magic. So this is my very first ever attempt at playing the most powerful format with Power 9 and Black Lotuses in Magic's history. So we're going to give it a shot. Expect there to be some mistakes along the way, some learning experiences, but the deck we're playing today is Survival. This is Survival of the Fittest for Vintage, and it seems like a fun one. It is a real deck, a known deck, but it's also a pretty spicy deck with what it's trying to do. So we're going to do a deck tag, talk about the deck. Please ignore the price tag, $30,000. Yes, it's absurd. I know it's absurd. I can't play this in paper. You can't play this in paper. No one can play it in paper unless you were buying Magic cards back in 1993 and you kept your Black Lotus. That's just how Vintage works. Although it is worth mentioning, it's only 284 ticks on Magic Online, which is cheaper than most Modern and Legacy decks. So if you want to check out Vintage, Magic Online is a good place to do it. Regardless, we're going to try this deck out and see how this works with some of the most powerful cards in Magic's history. A quick reminder before we break down Vintage Survival. If you enjoy this deck and you enjoy Much Abrew in general, it would be amazing of you if you could take a second, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So remember, I'm going to give you this deck tag, but I am learning Vintage right along with all of you because I've never played it before. But here's my understanding of Vintage Survival. So Vintage Survival, it has basically 2 engines. Engine number 1 is Bazaar of Baghdad, which is a land that doesn't tap for mana. Instead, you can tap it to draw 2 cards and then discard 3 cards. So this lets us do some potentially busted things is early on turn 1. So what we're really trying to set up with Bazaar of Baghdad is drawing and then discarding 3. Hopefully among those 3 cards we're discarding are Vengevines and Basking Root Walla. So Vengevine goes into our graveyard. If we cast 2 creatures, we get it back for free. Basking Root Walla has a madness cost of 0, so we can just cast it when we discard it. So let's say we Bazaar, we discard Vengevine, Basking Root Walla, Basking Root Walla. Those Root Wallas are immediately going to trigger our Vengevine. Get back our Vengevine, we attack our opponent for a bunch of damage as early as turn 1. The other big part of this plan is Hollow One. So Hollow One is free if you cycle or discard, which is the key part, 3 cards in a turn. It makes this cost literally 0. So Bazaar, since it makes us discard 3 cards, means all of our Hollow Ones are also free. So if you substitute a Hollow One or 2 in place of Basking Root Walla, we get to do the same thing. On turn 1, we can play Bazaar, we can activate it, we discard, let's say, Vengevine and a couple of random things, then we just play 2 Hollow Ones for free, we get back our Vengevine, go to town attacking, hasty, we have like 12 power on turn 1. So that's engine number 1. Engine number 2 is the namesake Survival of the Fittest. 2-mana enchantment lets you pay a green, discard a creature card, search for a creature card, put it in your hand. So the loop here is very similar. So let's say we have Survival. Let's say we play it on turn 2 fairly. And remember, we have Black Lotuses, so sometimes we just do this stuff on turn 1 and it's really insane. But let's say we play it on turn 2, we untap on turn 3 and we have 3 mana. So we have a random creature in our hand. We discard that random creature for 1 of our green mana, get a Vengevine. Then we discard the Vengevine for another one of our green mana to get a Basking Root Walla. Then we discard the Basking Root Walla with our last green mana. We get the Basking Root Walla for free. We tutor up a hollow one. We've discarded 3 cards. We play the hollow one. We get back the Vengevines. And then we go to town. If you imagine that we have a Black Lotus, so maybe instead of 3 green mana, we have 6 green mana, then we can basically just like get all of our Vengevines. Just tutor out like 3 Vengevines, discard them all. Then we go to the Basking Root Walla, hollow one, play 2 creatures, get the Vengevines back, win the game. So those are the engines of the deck. Trying to do this as quickly as possible, beat our opponent down. We do have a couple other cards that are not just one-ofs, and then we have a bunch of one-of tutor targets. So Deathrite Shaman comes down on turn 1, gives us some graveyard hit, gives us some life gain. Most importantly, it adds a bit of extra mana. And our deck only has 17 lands, and 4 of those are Bazaars that don't tap for mana. So having that extra mana from Deathrite, really key to some of those survival loops we were talking about. Leovold, just a good value creature. It makes our opponent not brainstorm and Jace or do all those crazy card drawing Ancestral Recall that are available in Vintage. Plus, it can maybe protect our stuff, at least draw us some cards as our opponent kills our stuff. And then we have a bunch of one-of tutor targets. So remember, we have Survival. We have this Bazaar, so we're churning through our deck like crazy, tutoring through our deck. Elvish Spirit Guide just gives us an extra mana. If we need an extra mana for one of those loops we were talking about, Phantasmal Image can copy anything, and an Emrakul our opponent has in play, a Grizzlebrand. Also, we just copy a Vengevine and go aggro. Trigon Predator is a card that's way better in Vintage than other formats, because remember, we're playing Vintage, which means everyone's got like Black Lotuses, Moxen, Soul Rings, Mana Crypts. There's so many fast, busted artifact mana cards. Trigon kills all those, plus it's really good against Stacks, which is an artifact-based prison deck in the format. Then we have a Squee and a Wonder, and these are other cards that kind of combo with Survival and with our Bazaar. So Squee just keeps coming back to our hand from our graveyard, so it's essentially a free discard each turn to our Bazaars or to our Survivals. We can always get back Squee, discard it, get another Vengevine, get another whatever, and go through that loop. And then Wonder, we're mostly just trying to discard it and have it in our graveyard and give our team flying. So if our opponent has a bunch of blockers on the ground, we can still smash in with hollow ones and Vengevines, because all of our stuff just has flying for free with Wonder and an island on the battlefield. As far as the spells, we get a bunch of Power 9. Black Lotus, Mox Emerald, Mox Jet, Mox Samphire. This is part of the reason we can play 17 lands and only 13 mana producing lands, because we have this fast artifact mana, which is basically like having extra lands, except they get around the 1 land per turn rule. Black Lotus, it doesn't do anything particular in our deck. We're not really comboing with it. It just sometimes allows us to like play Survival and activate it on turn 1 and do all these really busted things. It's just too powerful not to play. Otherwise, we get 2 pieces of blue Power 9 as well. Ancestral Recall, Time Walk. Again, these are cards that are just too busted to not have in our deck. We aren't doing anything in specific with either of these cards, but they're just so good. Drawing 3 for 1 mana, taking extra turn for 2 mana. There's just no downside to playing them. Like sometimes you just Time Walk on turn 2, take an extra turn, make an extra land drop, drawing 3 cards. It can never be bad. So that's why they're in our deck. They're not doing anything in specific or really synergistic with our deck. They're just so good that you can't pass them up in a format like Vintage. Otherwise, we get Sylvan Library as a one-of, a little bit more card advantage. Mental Misstep and Force of Will give us defense. Mental Misstep probably looks weird. It's like a Vintage staple. There's a lot of powerful 1 mana stuff. Really important, especially if you are on the draw, that you're able to stop a turn 1 Soul Ring or whatever busted 1-drop your opponent's playing. Ancestral Recall. Mana base, we talked about the Bazaars. It doesn't make mana. It's actually a combo piece. Then we have some fetch lands, some original dual lands, a basic land. In the sideboard, we get Leyline of the Void to fight against graveyard decks. Dredge is a real thing. It's a powerful thing. This gives us an answer. Stony Silence, Energy Flux. These are our answers to the Shop deck, which is a artifact, prison, Arcbound Ravager, Walking Ballista style deck. Both of these cards help keep that deck in check. Then we have Containment Priest, which is good against decks like Reanimator, cheating things into play type decks with Show and Tell. Also kind of good in the mirror where it stops Vengevine. Mindbreak Check, to help against Storm, Abrupt Decay, kind of all-purpose removal, and that is Vintage Survival. And that's our Much Abrew deck for this week. So we're just going to give this a shot. Like I said, next week, Ravnica Allegiance will be out. We'll be playing the new cards in Standard and Modern, but we kind of had this weird free week where we couldn't really play our deck techs because they featured mostly Ravnica Allegiance cards. So I figured if we're going to give it a shot, we might as well give it a shot. So this is my first attempt ever at playing Vintage. Fingers crossed, hopefully it goes well. There's a lot of busted stuff in this format, so let's see if we can figure it out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Much Abrew About Nothing time, and we are in for an adventure and a half today. So, as you know, or might know, should know, I am playing in a Vintage Super League starting very soonly. Vintage Super League starting in a few weeks, like 3 weeks. We kind of had a weird down week with Much Abrew where we weren't quite to Ravnica Allegiance yet. We had a bunch of like future deck techs last week. So I figured it's probably time to start learning Vintage. So this is my first ever attempt at playing Vintage. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm forgetting something way in the past, I'm pretty sure I have not played a single game of Vintage. So we are playing a Vintage League, and while I do plan on brewing some sweet decks, hopefully, right now we're playing a sweet deck, but a known deck. This is Survival of the Fittest for Vintage, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, this seems like a good survival hand. We're on the draw. We have no defense if our opponent just kills us. No forces, no time walks. We have no fast mana, so we're kind of like turn 2 survival and going from there. I'm guessing this isn't fast enough and we're supposed to mulligan. That's my guess. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. This seems better-ish. We'll keep it. I mean, in theory, we can just Bazaar, Forest to the bottom, Plains for our opponent, and passing. Well, let's see what we draw. Bazaar. So I'm assuming that we're supposed to Bazaar of Baghdad, activate it, and hope that we draw into either a hollow one or another Basking Root Walla. Yeah, I mean, okay, we did not. So we'll discard Vengevine. We'll discard Wooded Foothills. And we'll discard, I guess, Mox Sapphire? All right, pass the turn. So next turn we can just double Bazaar, and our hand's going to be empty, but we should hit hollow ones or Basking Root Wallas or something. And we can force something if we have to. Oh my god, this format. I have no idea what we're up against. Oh, it's Eldrazi. Okay. Eldrazi and something. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. I don't think we actually care much about Thalia. Okay, sure. Opponent passes. We draw. We basically just need a creature to get back this Vengevine. Another Vengevine. All right, play Bazaar. Activate it. Vengevine, and Spirit Guide. Bazaar. That's not good. Time Walk, Ancestral Recall. Man, we could not find it. Time Walk, Ancestral Recall, and Time Walk, Force of Will. All right, there we go. We'll keep Ancestral, pass the turn. Our graveyard plan is going well. We just have not hit the creatures. We need to hit Basking Root Wallas and hollow ones, and we haven't been able to find them. Opponent. We have 3 Vengevines. So much power will return from our graveyard. If we could just draw any creature. Opponent. Displacer. Okay. Opponent's off to a fairly fair start, too. Opponent. Getting in. Yep. Down to 18. All right, there's a Root Walla. So activate Bazaar. Oh boy. Well, that's good. Discard, discard, discard. And, okay. So free Root Walla. Here comes the Vengevines. All 4. All 4 coming back. And that's what this deck, oh my goodness, is trying to do. This is turn 3. That's not as fast as we were hoping, but still, that's not bad. Okay. Board full of Vengevines. Go to combat. Attack. For a lot. Okay, maybe Vintage is sweet. Oh, we have a mismatch Vengevine. Treasure Chest. Treasure Chest ruining our Vengevine beatdown. Yeah, that was a reasonable turn. That wasn't bad. Not bad at all. I'm actually guessing that we should keep activating Bazaar because we could hit Hollow One. I don't know. Okay, opponent. We don't even have to activate Bazaar because, oh, we would have hit a Hollow One. We don't even have to activate Bazaar because our opponent scoops it up. Well, that was good. That was super good. Okay, so now, since we're learning Vintage for the first time, opponent's playing Eldrazi Taxes. So Eldrazi Taxes, I assume means our opponent's going to bring in, oh, Lord Almighty, Grafdigger's Cages would be my guess. Containment Priests, perhaps. Rest in Peace. Graveyard Hate. Basically a bunch of Graveyard Hate. So what do we do to get around the Graveyard Hate? Containment Priest isn't good. Energy Flux isn't really good. Mindbreak Trap. So I think what we do is bring in 2 Abrupt Decays. Go down Flusterstorm. Actually, go down Flusterstorm. I guess the upside is we can actually win fairly against Eldrazi. Do we want to keep Force of Wills? We don't actually have that many cards to bring in that are even, like, sort of good here. Like, we can just win by playing our stuff, even through Graveyard Hate, although Graveyard Hate is annoying. But we can just, like, survival out threats and whatnot. Mental Misstep. I guess it hits, like, Grafdigger's Cage, but it doesn't have a ton of targets. Graveyard Hate doesn't do anything. Mindbreak Trap, no. Energy Flux actually is probably worth it. Our opponent's deck does have a lot of artifacts. Let's bring in Energy Fluxes. Go down 2 Missteps, 2 Force of Wills. I'm worried if we take all the Missteps, we don't have enough mana for or blue cards for Force Will. All right, let's try it like that. Close enough. We're learning as we go. Well, we won our first ever game of Vintage, so we're off to a good start for Team Vintage Super League. With a lot of Vengevines on turn 3. That was a lot of Vengevines. All right, let's see what we got. So opponent's on the play. This might just be a good matchup for us. Opponent has a lot of stuff. Just stuff that's like good against spell decks and combo decks, but isn't especially good against our deck, I don't think. I'm actually not sure if we're supposed to be bringing in the Energy Fluxes. Maybe we're not, but they do have a decent amount of artifacts. And we don't really have hardly any. Well, alright. We'll keep it. We're close to the nuts. Mox Jet. Wasteland. Ugh. Okay. And Grafdigger's Cage. Well, it's going to make things more challenging. Opponent passes. Well, let's Savannah. Play Deathrite. Pass the turn. Ugh. Eldrazi Temple. Here they come, here they come. Phyrexian Revoker. Alright, so I assume this name's Deathrite. And then our opponent blows up our Savannah, and then we're just... okay. Well, if they Wasteland here, we're not doing much. There's the Wasteland. I mean, I guess our opponent's also not doing much, but we don't even have, like, a land at the moment. And Mox isn't bad. Well, play Bazaar. Activate. Well, there's some lands. Discard Vengevine, Rootwalla. Get a free Rootwalla. Play Mox Emerald. And, actually, let's not attack. Let's pass. This Trigon Predator could be good. That would free up a lot of our... that would free up our board from all these artifacts if we could start getting in hits with it. And there's a Soul Ring. So much fast mana. Opponent. Revoker. Okay. Well, opponent hasn't played anything too threatening. Let's see if they name Survival. They name Mox. Well, that's not great. Opponent passes. I'll play Wooded Foothills. Pass the turn. These Revokers are miserable. Opponent. Combat. No attacks. Force. Well, play Wooded Foothills. Pass the turn. This turn we might start Bazaring. Thought Not Seer. Alright, let's force. Pitch Energy Flux. Opponent. Passing. Alright, we untap. That's a forest. All right, so crack wooded foothills. Get a tropical island. Crack wooded foothills. Get a bayou. Play a forest. Run out Trigon Predator. Pass the turn. Now our opponent needs to answer Predator, or that's going to answer what our opponent is using to lock down our board. And opponent scoops it up. Predator gets the job done. And 2-0 in our first ever vintage match. Survival taking down some Eldrazi. Eldrazi and Taxes? I don't even know what it's called in vintage. Eldrazi and Taxes, which legitimately, we're learning the meta as we go, but according to the database, Eldrazi Taxes is 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth most played deck in Vintage. So, well, off to a good start. Off to a good start in Vintage for the first time ever. Sweet. All right, much Abrew time. We are back here again with some more. We have a Black Lotus. Oh, the power of Black Lotus. Oh my God. Are we gonna just Black Lotus hard cast a hollow one? Is that where we're at? Oh man. I assume that that's not really what you're supposed to do with Black Lotus, but can we ship a hand that has Black Lotus, Deathrite Shaman, Hollow One? Oh, this format's great. Oh Lord. We get a Black Lotus for the first time playing Vintage, and we can play a turn 1 Hollow One. That's what modern decks do with a Burning Inquiry. I can't imagine that is the true power of Black Lotus, but all right, I guess we keep this. I think what we're going to do is keep this, but not actually use our Black Lotus to play a Hollow One. I think instead we play Savannah, play Deathrite Shaman, play do we even play Mox? Yeah, play the Mox, pass the turn. I don't know if we're supposed to play the Mox or not, honestly. Opponent, Tundra, and Preordain. Sure. Opponent passes. Survival would be sweet. Another Hollow One. I'll play Windswept Heath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we weren't supposed to keep this hand. Play Basking Root Walla. Yeah, let's crack. Take a Bayou. Pass the turn. Misty Rainforest for our opponent. Well, that's Deathrite. Eat the Preordain. Untap. Okay. Windswept Heath. Crack Windswept Heath. Take a Tropical Island. Exile a Windswept Heath. Oh my God. And a mana. Yeah, we're doing it. Just this is vintage. This is vintage. Just how we drew it up. Hard cast a Hollow One. Opponent gets an island. Are they gonna mana drain? That's bad. They are. Oh dear. Well, get it with Basking Root Walla. Hit our opponent. Well, now our opponent has a lot of mana. So I'm wondering, maybe we were not supposed to keep this opening hand because we didn't have an enabler. Like any way to just explode out of the gate. Opponent. That's a Teferi. That's bad news. Cracks Flooded Strand. They still have mana left over. Hollow One versus Teferi. This is starting to feel more like modern than vintage. Oh, opponent's got Black Lotus. Swords to Plowshares, Deathrite. Yeah, I think maybe, even though we had this Black Lotus, maybe we were just supposed to mulligan our opening hand for something more aggressive. Explosive. Snapcaster for swords. Now, our opponent did not leave. Oh, they get to untap white mana. Preordain. Well, I guess there's a downside to Hollow One, and that is it lets our opponent cast Teferis with mana drain mana. Learning. We're learning. Opponent's still going to town. So I guess we need to draw and resolve Survival of the Fittest. That's what we need here. Opponent. Alright. Passes. Untap some lands. Now I assume they swords are... Yep. Swords Root Walla. We draw. Another Root Walla. I think we're probably actually pretty close to conceding. Opponent draws some cards. Field of Ruin. Brainstorm. Like, I imagine it's going to take our opponent a while to actually win. Blows up our land. We get our 1 forest. Alright, so lesson learned from this game. We should have just mulliganed. Oh, Treasure Cruise. So I think we're going to give ourselves like 1 turn to draw something. Probably Survival. Opponent. Gets to untap. And it still has to dodge the counters and resolve. Alright, what did Foothills crack it? Yeah, I can't imagine that this deck wants to be hard casting hollow ones. That cannot be the idea. There just can't be. We're playing it like standard speed with a Black Lotus in our hand. We never even got... Maybe we should have just played a turn 1 hollow one. Maybe we should have just used Black Lotus and been like, alright, hard cast a hollow one, go. Alright, opponent has the path, and we're going to call it a day. Is that an early scoop? I have no idea. We're playing Vintage for the first time ever. Hopefully not, maybe. Alright, so opponent's just playing Control. Against Control, I assume we need Abrupt Decays for the Graveyard Hate. I think that's our big one. And then what do we go down? Go down maybe like the Elvish Spirit Guide and maybe just Wonder. I don't think our opponent has many blockers. Let's try it like that. All right, so we're on the play. We need a more explosive hand. This is better. This is more like what we're looking for. If we hit some Vengevines, this hand is insane. So we get to play Bazaar. We activate it, draw 2. Whoo! Discard Vengevine. This is the start we want. Basking Root Walla, Basking Root Walla. We get 2 Basking Root Wallas for free. Yes. And yes. Which triggers our Vengevine to return. Go to combat, hit our opponent with Vengevine. Down to 16. This is more like it. And a free hollow one. Okay. Opponent forces. Pitching. Search. Alright. We're going to let it go. We're not going to spend our force. Opponent. Flooded Strand. Cracks it. Tundra. Ancestral Recall. Okay. Opponent passing. We untap. Well, let's Bazaar. Discard Squee, Time Walk, and Deathrite. Huh. Squee, Time Walk, Deathrite. Play Tropical Island. Go to combat. Attack for 6. So this leaves us with both Mental Misstep and Force for defense. So opponent, down to 8. Pass the turn. Opponent, untaps. Preordain. Okay. Well, this is the explosive starts our deck can get. I guess we should have mulliganed our first hand and looked for this start. Tundra. Opponent. Passing. Squee returns. Yes, please. Another Mental Misstep. Well, let's go drawing. Discard Squee, Leovold, and Hollow one. Play Windswept Heath. Crack it. We basically just want to pump so we can present lethal. Take a Bayou. Go to combat. Attack. Pump. And opponent scoops it up? Whoo! Okay! That's our deck doing its thing. That's the plan. That's the plan. That was much better than our Hardcast Hollow one plan in game number 1. That plan was not as good. That was not as good, I will say. That went much better. Much better. Alright. So, I mean, I guess we just keep it like this? Yeah? I mean, run it back. Do that one more time. We are in the draw this game, but, well, we have a Bazaar. Alright. I assume with this deck that most hands with a Bazaar are probably keepers. Mox Sapphire. Opponent passes. Well, let's Mox Jet. Deathrite Shaman. Opponent mana drains. Now play Bazaar. Pass the turn. Opponent gets a mana. Plains. Jace. Alright, well, Bazaar. Discard Vengevine. Ugh. Land and land. I mean, I think at this point we are basically just all in on these Bazaars. Opponent brainstorms. Like, double Bazaar, hopefully hit the right things to get back Vengevine. I think that's our game plan now. And kill the Jace. Something like Mox Grafdigger's Cage would be really bad. Opponent passing. Alright, Bazaars, it's up to you. Well, there's a hollow one. Well, let's Bazaar. Discard land, land, land. Play Bazaar. Bazaar. Discard Leovold, Black Lotus, Phantasmal Image. Cast a Hollow One. Cast a Deathrite. Get back Vengevine. Kill Jace. Well, I mean, this is what we got. We spent everything. Literally our entire hand. But we did get 9 power on turn 2. Opponent. Preordains. They know we're out of action. Opponent has no way of misunderstanding that. Being empty-handed and tapped out. Well, we'll see. Is it enough? Is it enough? Remember, we are playing Vintage, which means the land of balance and some pretty busted answers. Even just swords is pretty good for our opponent here, since it's going to take us a while to rebuild. What do you got, opponent? Opponent's passing? I like the sounds of passing. Opponent passes. Another Bazaar. Well, go to combat. Attack, attack. Opponent has Hurkyl's Recall. Okay. Takes 4. So if we draw, we go to 5. Discard, discard, discard. Play, play. Alright, so let's Bazaar. To get our Hollow One back down. Oh. Alright, well, I mean, this is it. Discard everything. Cast a Hollow One. Cast a Hollow One. Pass the turn. Okay. Land. Cracks it. Uh-oh. Do they have like a actual sweeper? Tundra. Monastery Mentor. And a Grafdigger's Cage. Alright. Well, it is our board versus our opponent's Mentor. Opponent passes. Abrupt Decay that we're not really close to casting. Well, go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent blocks. Drops to 7. Pass the turn. Preordain. Makes a dork. I wonder if we're supposed to be just activating Bazaar to basically draw and discard 2 cards. Because we could hit Basking Root Walla. Opponent's going to cantrip their way through their deck. Make a bunch of dorks. Yep. Cantrip. So many cantrips. So opponents build a big board. That's for sure. And opponent going to get in with Mentor. Well, we take 5. Yep. Passes. Bayou. That's interesting. Huh. I'll play Bayou. Go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent. Do they have swords? That's the big question. Blocks. 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 Okay. Well, exile Polluted Delta. Add green. Bayou for black. Abrupt Decay Mentor. Pass the turn. See if our opponent can find an answer. Opponent. Gitaxia Probe. Down to 5. The Desperate Dig. The Desperate Dig for an answer. Opponent. Land. To Fairy. Draws. Is that enough? Opponent's passing. Well, I mean, Bazaar. Yeah. Alright. Discard, discard. We have a Squee and we have Basking Root Wallas, which are free hits. Discard, discard. Opponent gets to untap 2 lands. We untap. Go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. Opponent brainstorms. And scoops it up! We got there! Up to 2-0! In Vintage! With Survival! We're doing it! We're doing it! We're actually doing it in Vintage! Our first ever games and we're winning! Huh! It's working! It's working! Yes! Alright. Sweet, I guess. Yeah. Sweet. Alright. Much Abrew About Nothing time. Playing our first ever. Alright. We get to play first. We are playing against the Doctor of Passwords. Riche. Vintage Super League member. Vintage All-Star. I like these hollow ones, but we have no enablers. We learned last round that we cannot keep hands without enablers. Well, I guess we keep this one. Basking Root Walla to the bottom. Well, Windswept Heath, crack it. Grab a Tropical Island and Deathrite Shaman. Pass the turn. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Atog Lord Riche is on some sort of Staxy type deck. Okay, that's a Black Lotus. Mana. And, oh boy, Foundry Inspector. Mana Crypt. Well, I think Mishra's Factory. Lodestone Golem. Mox Pearl. Sphere of Resistance. Well, that turn 1 was a little bit better than our turn 1. Well, Forest. 1, 2. Yeah, we can't cast anything. Pass the turn. Yeah, we're a little bit locked at the moment. Come on, Mana Crypt. Come on, Mana Crypt. Lose that flip. Down to 17. Yeah, this is how stacks goes. If we draw, I guess shops actually. If we draw one more land, we can start doing things. That would be sweet. Steel Overseer. We gotta draw it soon though, because we're gonna get beaten down by Chalice on 1. All right, so land. We need a land. Opponent's out of cards, but they're hitting us for a ton, and they have a Steel Overseer. We draw Basking Root Walla. Yeah, that costs 4. Yeah, I think they just got us. All right. Well, oh my god, it costs our land too for that. All right. Yeah, we're just dead. There's no coming back from that. So, Podit, they're playing everyone's favorite, shops. Lock pieces, lock pieces, lock pieces. Well, we get Energy Flux. That's good. Abrupt Decay also seems reasonable. I don't know if Mental Misstep is actually that good here. It hits some sideboard cards, but that's about it. We might have to keep Force of Will just as a way to protect ourselves from what just happened, essentially. I mean, to be fair, they also had the Black Lotus draw. Let's go down Mental Missteps. I don't know if I'm sideboarding correctly at all. Go down Mental Missteps and go down Flusterstorm. That does not leave a ton of blue cards for this Force of Will, does it? Huh. Stony Silence. I guess we also want that. Let's go down 1 Force. And maybe just like Phantasmal. Let's go down, yeah, Phantasmal Image. Not super, all right, try it like that. Not super comfortable with the sideboard plan, but we'll see. Well, we got a Bazaar. I mean, I think we keep this. We don't really have defense, but Mox Emerald, Deathrite, Bazaar, pass the turn. Maybe we're supposed, I wonder if we're supposed to just spin the Bazaar. Maybe? Ancient Tomb. Revoker. Well, alright. Yeah, I think we were supposed to spin. Discard, discard, discard. Oh, we even hit a hollow one? I think we were definitely supposed to just spin the wheel there. Ugh. Alright. Well, they named Deathrite. Okay. Well, Bazaar. Another hollow one would be pretty sweet. Discard. Discard. Actually, maybe we gotta keep Stony Silence over Sylvan Library. We do have a Bazaar. So discard Vengevine, Sylvan Library, and we can search up Savannah. All right. So discard Sylvan Library, Vengevine, Tropical Island, Wooded Foothills, crack it, get a Savannah, get in with Deathrite, play a hollow one, Stony Silence, pass the turn. Yeah, I'm really not sure. Maybe we're supposed to keep the Sylvan Library. Opponent. Hangerback Walker. Sure. Strip Mine. And passes. Ooh, Energy Flux that we can't cast. Well, go to combat. Get in with our hollow one. And pass the turn. Opponent. Ravager. Thankfully, can't actually activate with Stony Silence out. And passes. Well, get in with hollow one. Alright, blocks with Ravager. Counter on Hangerback. Yeah, that is a way to make a bunch of chump blockers. Pass the turn. Well, we do have Force in hand, which is something. It's also possible we should start activating Bazaar. But that's going to empty our hand pretty quickly. Hangerback, X1. Okay. Opponent. Passes. Alright, we're going to let it go. Untap. We draw a not great Vengevine. Get in with hollow one. Opponent blocks. Gets a 1/1. Pass the turn. I mean, technically we're winning this race. Walking Ballista, X1. I think we actually gotta force that. Because block, 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 block. Yeah, we need to force that. Ugh. Yeah, pitch the Energy Flux. We need our opponent to have to block with the Ravager to kill our hollow one. Gonna get in with the Thopter. I mean, they can jump block for a while because of this Hangerback Walker. Hollow one. Well, get in with hollow one. I mean, if we find another Bazaar, then we suddenly get hollow one, which would be nice. Pass the turn. Opponent's gonna... there's a Wasteland. Opponent's gonna lose access to this Ancient Tomb eventually. Ballista. Okay. And... passes. Whew, there's Bazaar. Oh, get in with hollow one. Blocks, 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 blocks. Okay. Alright, let's do it now. Bazaar, activate Bazaar. Discard, discard, discard. Hollow one. Pass the turn. An opponent scoops it up. Okay. It's possible. It's possible to win. Oh, man. This matchup. Alright. Run it back. We're on the draw. Well, okay. We'll keep. Energy Fluxes are... oh, man. That's our sideboard card. There's Mana Crypt. Workshop. Lodestone Golem. Well, let's force it. And a Chalice on 0. And passes. Mock Sapphire. Well, play Bazaar. Spin the wheel. Discard Vengevine. Mox. Well, maybe we keep the Mox. Vengevine. Land. Pass the turn. Opponent. Come on, lose some flips. Lose some flips. Down to 17. Mana Crypt. 2 damage. Alright, there's a Wasteland. There goes our Bazaar. Opponent's still got an ungodly amount of mana. That's a big old Walking Ballista. And passes. That's interesting. I'll play a Forest. Play a Sapphire. Oh, dear. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Pass the turn. Yeah, that was a bit of a misplay. Chalice on 0 is a thing that we did not take into account. Opponent. Foundry Inspector. Got too excited about running out the Survival and punished by Chalice. 1 card left in hand. Ugh. Counter on Ballista. Opponent. Getting in for 3. Down to 16. Bazaar. Play it, activate it. We go up to 5. Can we win if we wait? We need to hit a hollow one or a Basking Root Walla. If we wait, we Windswept Teeth, crack it. We take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think we got to go for it. So play Bazaar. Activate it. Come on, hollow one. We need a hollow one. Ugh. Well, discard. Discard. Ugh. Discard. Yeah, pass the turn. I think this means we're going to be dead. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Opponent. Mana Crypt. Down to 12. Metamorph. Copies Inspector. Combat. Gets in. Well, we're going to need quite a Bazaar hit to not just be dead. It's going to have to be spectacular. Opponent's down to 8. We untap. Sylvan Library. Well, Bazaar. Oh, okay, that's game. So close. Yep. Could not find it. And that's the end of the dream. Well, we ran into a really good vintage player and with much more experience than us. And we went 3 games, so I guess we can't complain too much. I mean, it would have been nice to actually win, but we can't complain too much, losing to vintage all-star Richey. So, on to the next one, All right, much Abrew about nothing time. We are continuing our exploration of vintage. And this hand, So we have turn 1 Survival. Bayou, Sapphire, Survival. Then we can start, like, grinding for value? Is that good enough? Ugh. We only have 1 green source, though. Let's mulligan. Well, okay. This hand's great. Legitimately great. Top of our deck, Force of Will to the bottom. So Bizarre, loot, discard Force, land. Pass the turn. Oh boy. There was a bit of a mistake there. Oops. Workshop. Sphere of Resistance. Opponent passes. Well, that's Bizarre. Discard Vengevine. Survival. And wait. 1, 2, 3. And Basking Root Walla. We can't Madness because of this sphere. Yeah, it doesn't work. Exile Spirit Guide for Black Lotus. Sack Black Lotus for green. Play Deathrite. Hollow one. Get back a Vengevine. And go attacking. Oh boy, we really messed this up by not discarding Vengevine on turn 1. That was a pretty significant mistake. Opponent. Maybe we'll still win the game, but that was Uber Puntsville. I don't know what my brain was thinking. Oh man, I don't even know if I can show this video. I might have to do another one because that is about the worst punt. Oh boy, huh? All right, pay no mind. We got a bunch of creatures on the battlefield. Maybe we're still okay. That was very bad though. That was super bad. We could have done basically this on turn 1, but I discarded the wrong cards. Okay. Well, at least it's during Much Abrew in our first ever league and not during Super League, that would be more brutal. Opponent, Steel Overseer. Yep. And Ancient Tomb. And passes. Well, go to combat. Attack. Opponent takes it. Down to 7. Untaps. Wow. Are we going to win through the worst punt in the history of Magic? That would make me feel slightly better. Although, I still can't believe we did that. Mishra's Factory. Down to 5. 4. What? Oh, not doing it. Opponent. Walking Ballista. And passes. We draw a Force of Will. Well, I guess we activate. Draw. Discard Force. Root Walla. And I guess just Phantasmal Image? Exile a land. Make a mana. Madness Root Walla. Go to combat. Attack. I think we already would have won by now if we if we hadn't made the worst punt on turn 1. Opponent. Activates Factory. Down to 5. Counters on the dorks. Blocks. Wow. And drops to 1? Okay. Kills Hollow one. Drops to 1. Well, pass the turn. Opponent. Can't use Ancient Tomb. Kinda has to kill Deathrite, because if we ever hit black mana, Deathrite wins. Wow, this game. Opponent. Revoker. Alright, that can name Deathrite. Opponent's passing. Yep, we untap. Bizarre. Now what? Now let's Bizarre. Discard. And discard. Go to combat. Get in with Vengevine. Opponent. Blocks with Overseer. Yep. Counters on the dorks. Pass the turn. Ugh. Yep. Opponent untaps. That turn 1 punt might actually make us lose. Another Workshop. It's a lot of artifact mana. Oh, I think we punted away this game. Steel Overseer, again. And Walking Ballista, also again. Yeah, we're just going to lose to the board? Opponent, pass it. Well, activate Bizarre. Discard. Play Tropical Island. Oh, man. Oh, dear. All right. Well, that punt cost us the game. And it was a pretty ridiculous punt. Opponent. Revoker on Bazaar. And I think it is now scoop time. Oh, they can't name Bazaar. All right. I still think that we're probably done. Name Survival. Mox Emerald. So what kind of out do we have? I don't even know anymore. Not many. Opponent. Combat. Big attack. Yep. Can't do anything about it. Down to 15. Opponent passes. We draw Deathrite. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're just dead. Alright, we're going to scoop it up. Boy, oh boy. Well, I guess it's good to get the punts out now compared to on during the Super League. But that was pretty brutal. Oh, we kind of gave that one away. Gave that one away a bit. So bring in all of our artifact hate. Go down, I guess, Squee, and go down Phantasmal Image. Run it like that. Yikes, 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 yikes. That was an embarrassing one. I don't even know if I can show this match, because there's no defense of that punt. I just had a brain fart. I don't know what my head was thinking. All right, we are on the play. Well, okay. This hand's fine. We got a hollow one. We got a Bazaar. We got a Force. All right. So let's see if we can do this without punting. Bazaar Baghdad. Activate. Discard Basking Root Walla. Discard Elvish Spirit Guide. Discard Force of Will? Yeah, discard... Well, let's discard Mox Emerald. So we get a Basking Root Walla for free. We get a hollow one. We pass the turn. Well, not a bad start. Not absurd, but not bad. Workshop. Foundry Inspector. Yeah, I guess we got to counter it. Opponent passes. We untap. Time Walk we can't cast. So if we activate 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's Bazaar. Ouch. Discard Bazaar. Discard Time Walk. Can we keep Time Walk Force of Will? Can we win with just Hollow One? We're only hitting for 5. Yeah, we got to discard them. Discard Time Walk Force of Will. Go to combat. Attack. Hit our opponent for 5. Play Windswept Heath. Pass the turn. Opponent. Ancient Tomb. It's a lot of mana for artifacts. Metamorph. Ugh. Copies our hollow one. And a Steel Overseer. Opponent passes. Well, let's crack Windswept Heath. Take a Tropical Island. Bazaar. Discard Vengevine, Root Walla, Savannah. Get a Root Walla. Get in with hollow one. Opponent blocks. Yep. Pass the turn. Opponent. Walking Ballista. That's like a Wrath. And Hanger back. Oh, Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. Opponent. Counters on everything. Kills our board. Yep. Opponent. Passing. We draw a Bayou. Well, let's activate. I don't know how we do anything from here, though. Discard, discard, discard. Pass the turn. I mean, I guess our hope is that we... I guess our hope is that we somehow get back a bunch of Vengevines. Foundry Inspector. Not seeming super likely, though. Opponent down to 7. Walking Ballista. So many Ballistas. And a Ravager. Okay. And now we're officially dead. Alright. Yup. Well, that punt was bad. And it probably cost us game 1. Game 2, we just got run over. Alright. Much Abrew about nothing time. We are trying out something a bit different this week. With Survival in Vintage. First ever time playing Vintage, and This hand, we have a turn 1 survival, but no creatures. We have a Flusterstorm. With survival, if we find any one creature, things are going to be really sweet. Is that good enough? We're on the draw. I don't think it is. Okay. Savannah to the bottom. All right. Wooded Foils for our opponent. Cracks it. This hand is similar, except we actually kind of have a little bit of defense in these mental missteps. Forest. And we will misstep Deathrite Shaman. Opponent passing. Ooh, well that we like. Now let's Tropical Island. And Ancestral. Oh, opponent's gonna force? Alright, Force-Edge pitching Brainstorm. Okay, we got the force out of our opponent's hand, and we still have this survival. Wooded Foothills. Cracks it. Tropical Island. Time Walk. Alright, well that's not the most devastating Time Walk. Opponent. Opponent has survival, and we can't stop their survival. Okay. And a Bazaar. Opponent passes. We also get a Bazaar. We also do not have any creatures for our survival. I think we Wooded Foothills, crack it, grab a Bayou, and let's just Sylvan Library. Pass the turn. We might be on the wrong side of the survival battle, though. Opponent. Come on, no creatures. If they have creatures, they can go to town with survival. Even just one creature. Land. Oh, dear. It looks like they have a creature. Alright. Cracks it. Bayou. Survival. Discards Leovold. Bazaars in response. Searches up a creature. Huh. Well, that's going to be something to keep in mind. Gets a Vengevine. Discards Vengevine. Gets a Basking Root Walla. Discards Basking Root Walla. Well, let's misstep. Opponent. Hollow one. Cast it. Here comes the Vengevine. Well, opponent got the extra turn and won the die roll. Let's see if our Sylvan Library can catch us up at all. Opponent passes. Deathrite Shaman. What else is on top of our deck? Time Walk is good. Opponent's out of cards. Alright, so put Deathrite on top. Keep in hand. Drop to 7. Play Bazaar. Activate it. Discard Flusterstorm. Deathrite. Survival. Time Walk. Extra turn. Land. Oh, we need more than that deck. Sylvan Library, yes. Alright, so we pay 4 to keep Basking Root Walla. Put Wooded Foothills on top. Windswept Heath. Crack it to get rid of that land. Grab a Tropical Island. Bazaar Baghdad. That wasn't great. Discard, discard, discard. Cast Basking Root Walla. Cast Basking Root Walla. Pass the turn. Opponent. Bazaars. Mill some cards. Well, apparently we're supposed to be bazaring like our opponent is. Opponent. Attacks, attacks. Well, we got a block and block. We can pump to kill the Vengevine. Alright, opponent passes. Well, Sylvan Library. Hollow one. Basking Root Walla, Windswept Heath. Well, put on top. Put on top. Bazaar. Discard Root Walla, land, land. Get a Root Walla. And Hollow one. Okay. I mean, the problem is we're basically counting on our opponent whiffing. If they ever draw a creature, we're just straight up dead. Okay, there's a creature. Yeah, now we're dead. They just get to survival everything and kill us. Alright, well, we learned a trick that round, which is good. So against survival, I assume we just want a bunch of Leyline of the Voids. And we don't want Mental Missteps. And we don't want Flusterstorm. I don't even know how much we want Force of Will. I guess we could also bring in... Man, do we not want Force? Stopping Survival is nice. We can go down Forces, go up 2 Abrupt Decays and 3 Containment Priests. Alright, let's try it like that. That seems reasonable. In the Survival Mia, we don't really have a way to stop our opponent's ley line, assuming they also have ley line. That would make for a weird match. Well, we get to play first. Well, we're keeping. We will keep. We have all the fast mana. Alright, so we can just empty our hand pretty much. Can we, like, win this turn? We can activate Survival 3 times. So let's think about this. Mox Emerald, Mox Jet, Black Lotus. Survival, crack Black Lotus. Discard Containment Priest for Vengevine. Discard Vengevine for Vengevine. Discard Vengevine for Rootwalla. And we also have this Bazaar. Alright, so Mox Emerald, Mox Jet, Survival, Black Lotus, crack it for green, discard Containment Priest, get a Vengevine, discard Vengevine, get a Basking Rootwalla, discard Basking Rootwalla, get it for free, get a hollow one, cast a hollow one, get back a Vengevine, cast a hollow one, Bazaar Baghdad, get in for 4. Whoo! That's turn 1, boys and girls. That is turn 1. And that is vintage. Huh! Alright, opponent. Can you come back? Entire hand played turn 1. 2 hollow ones, a Vengevine, a Rootwalla, survival on the battlefield. Huh! That's the power of vintage. That is the power of vintage. Opponent. Let's see if they can get back into it after that insane start. That felt good. Opponent gets a tropical island. Good lord. You could do some busted things in this format. Ancestral. Well, we can't stop it. I think opponent basically needs their Black Lotus and some equally busted start to keep up with this. We also get to start milling cards with this Bazaar, too. Opponent finds their Lotus. Okay. Mox. Wow. Watch them actually have just as busted of a start. 3 mana. Survival. Whoa. Deathrite. Deathrite. Okay. Opponent passing. Well, activate Bazaar. Discard some cards. Upkeep Bazaar. Discard some cards. Draw. It's a Deathrite. Well, go to combat. Attack. Opponent. Blocks. Alright. Hit our opponent to 6. And... yeah, let's just discard Deathrite. Get a... do we want Squee? Or just... let's just get another hollow one. Get a hollow one. Cast it. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent. Give us your best shot. That was a good turn, too, I think. And opponent... oh, it's enough hollow... 3 hollow ones and a Vengevine on turn 2. Just barely enough. Just barely enough. Alright, well, that was pretty impressive. I think that was probably the single most impressive game we've had with this deck, honestly. Do we want to change anything? Yeah, I don't think so. Our opponent had a Black Lotus start, too. We were just on the play and fast enough. Alright, here we go. Opponent's on the play, which, that's scary. That is scary. Ooh, okay. That's good. We will keep. Start with a ley line. Wins up teeth for our opponent. Cracks it. Tropical Island. And ponders. We have Bazaar. Man, I wish... I gotta play more of this deck. It is so hard to know what to do. Opponent. Mox Emerald. And passing. Alright, what do we draw? Time Walk. Well, let's just Tropical Island. Pass the turn. Yep, pass the turn. Opponent. Wooded Foothills. Cracks it. Bayou. And Hardcast Vengevine. Alright, well, let's... Ancestral. Draw some cards. Opponent has the misstep. All right. Well, Vengevine versus whatever. Opponent gets in for 4, down to 16. We draw land. Well, let's Wooded Foothills, crack Wooded Foothills. Get a Bayou. Time Walk. Extra turn. Phantasmal Image. All right, so I think we just play a Forest, play Survival. All right, Forest plus blue card. Well, pass the turn. Opponent's out of cards. Completely out of cards. They left in their forces, too. Opponent. Cycles a hollow one. Sure. And Bazaar. Not good with a ley line out. Gets in. Down to 11. We untap. Bazaar. Well, play Bazaar. Activate. Discard Bazaar. Containment Priest. And Rootwalla. Play Rootwalla for free. Play a Leovold. Opponent, Bazaars. I don't even know what the point is of Bazaaring when there's a ley line out, but pass the turn. Opponent, combat. Attacks. Yeah, we'll take it. Down to 7. Opponent, just a land. Okay. Passes. We draw Squee. Well, that's Bazaar. Ooh. Discard Squee. Discard Bazaar. Discard Phantasmal Image. Play Survival. And we're just going to pass and play defense. We just can't get janked out by like another Vengevine off the top. Because we have Survival for next turn with Squee. Opponent's still sticking to the Bazaar plan. Just exiling cards, exiling cards. Uh-oh, opponent cracks Wooded Foothills. Did they actually draw a Vengevine? Savannah. They did indeed. Vengevine number 2. Opponent. Attacks. Attacks. Well, we will block and also block. Block and block. Get rid of the Vengevine. Upkeep. Bazaar. Discard a couple cards. I think we're good. Ugh. Alright. Well, there goes a hollow one. That was less than ideal. But we get back a Squee. Yup. We draw for our turn. Containment Priest. So we discard Squee. Get a Rootwalla. Discard Rootwalla. Get it for free. Opponent, staying with the plan. Gotta activate that Bazaar. Exiles a couple cards. Cast Rootwalla. Tutor up a... we don't even want Basking Rootwalla. Vengevine. Discard Vengevine. Take a hollow one. Cast hollow one. Get back a Vengevine. Yup. Well, get in with Vengevine. Hit our opponent, and I think we're doing it. Our ley line gonna come through. We're gonna finish with a winning record in our first ever Vintage League. Opponent, yeah, cards down. They did not take out their forces. Interesting. I wonder if we're wrong or they're wrong. And Paul scoops it up! And it wasn't always pretty, but we finish with a 3-2 in our first ever in the history of history Vintage League on the channel. And that means we get a treasure chest. Not gonna complain. Not gonna complain. Not gonna complain. Finishing with a even slightly winning record. I am absolutely thrilled. That is a crazy format. All right. Well, let's see if we get a treasure chest to reward us for our vintage victory. Only one chest. What do we get? Come on. Gruesome Slaughter. Oh boy. That's like the opposite of being rewarded. I don't even think this card has ever seen play anywhere in Magic's history, but yeah, all right. Well, that's vintage, and hopefully we'll have some more spicy stuff as we go along. This is definitely a really sweet deck. Survival of the Fittest is one of my favorite cards, and I mean, we can talk about it in the wrap-up, but I mean, well, we'll take it. We'll take a winning record. Sweet. Vintage. So what do we learn this week about survival in Vintage? And I'm going to refrain from trying to be like, oh, the deck should do this and we should change that, because I will be the first to admit I'm just not experienced enough in Vintage yet to give real Vintage players any criticism on their deck building or what they should be doing. So instead, let's focus on the big picture stuff. And overall, I think we did pretty well for this being our first ever attempt at playing Magic's most powerful format. We finished our league 3-2, and that included a game where I still don't understand what happened. I still cannot make any sense of why I did not discard Vengevine in our second game against Shops. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I had it in my head. Then I was like, oh, these are our worst cards, so we'll discard them. And that was embarrassing, and that was pretty bad. So despite that punt, which maybe lost us the match, it definitely lost us that game. Although, who knows? That was game 1. We still might have lost the match. And then we also lost to Rich Shea on Shops as well. I don't know if Shops is really a horrible matchup for our deck, or if we just were not good enough playing against it. It is one of the best decks in the format. But the deck performed pretty well. I feel like we played it okay, not great. I think the biggest challenge for this deck for me was figuring out how to activate our Bazaar of Baghdad's. Are you trying to like store up cards? Are you trying to just activate them all the time and play empty-handed? I think when we finally played the other survival player in our last round, and we saw how they were aggressively activating Bazaar just to mill cards when they were empty-handed, I think that's probably what we were supposed to be doing the whole time. Although, I mean, we still managed to post a winning record and win the mirror while probably not activating Bazaar optimally. The weird part about activating Bazaar is we don't really have that much that we really need to discard. Like, Basking Rootwalla, that's free value. Vengevine, that's free value. I guess eventually we'll hit Squee, which gives us even more free value, but it's not like we have a ton of cards that we just actively want in the graveyard. And then at the same time, our last opponent, they also kept activating their Bazaar, even with a ley line out, which I can't understand the logic of that at all. So maybe our last opponent was playing it improperly and we were playing it right. So I don't know. There's so many weird decisions that you just never have to make because they're cards that aren't legal in Legacy or Modern or anyplace else. So I feel like, all things considered, we played the deck pretty well. We saw some of the crazy explosiveness, and we got to see a pretty interesting take on Vintage, really. And my impression of Vintage is there are games where someone just wins on turn 1, and there's literally not much you can do about it. We had a game where we literally had our Black Lotus and 2 Moxen and a Survival, and we were able to just play our entire hand on turn 1 and ended with like 2 Hollow Ones and a Vengevine. In those type of games, you can't really do anything. It's just a one-sided, you win the game. You had the perfect combination of Power 9 cards and payoffs to just essentially win the game on turn 1. But those games, in our experience at least, they don't happen that often. It's not like it's just like a coin flip. Whoever wins the die roll wins on turn 1. Good game. There are games where that happens, but that's happening a pretty small percentage of time. And then the rest of the game, we play some really weird, close games. Like against Rich Shea in the Shops match, we had a game that was incredibly close and went right down to the buzzer and was very complicated and complex. So I do think that Vintage, it feels a lot faster and more broken than Legacy, which I think that's just having the Power 9 cards in the format. That is the biggest difference. There's other ones like Bazaar is not legal in Legacy, Survival is not legal in Legacy, but I think the Power 9 cards allow for occasionally people to just be like, all right, I have the perfect 7, I'm going to win the game on turn 1, but those games actually don't happen that much. So this deck, it's basically like a super powered Vengevine Hollow One deck, and I think it's pretty sweet. I don't know if this is something we would actually play in Vintage Super League. Maybe. I also want to try to brew some decks for Vintage Super League. So if you have some ideas for preferably like crazy combo decks for Vintage that are actually like hopefully at least competitive enough that they might be able to win sometimes, make sure to let me know in the comments because I definitely want some spice for Vintage Super League. But anyway, overall, for our first ever foray into Vintage, and with having one crazy mind-boggling punt and losing to a really good Vintage player in Rich Shea, who plays Vintage all the time, is very, very good at Vintage, I feel like we did pretty well to finish with a winning record, just in the dark, never having played this deck, never having played the format, trying to feel it out along the way, so I'm pretty happy overall with how it turned out. I wish I discarded that Vengevine the one game. My mind is still blown. I don't understand why I didn't, but it was fun, it was interesting. It's definitely unique. It feels a lot different than any other format, and yeah, maybe we'll do more of it in the future. Anyway, that's been Vintage Survival. That's been our first ever attempt at Vintage here on the channel. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.